家好，我叫做 Ann，今仔日带大家来到纽约市的曼哈顿，要来访问一间茶馆。大家有可能在想，这看起来就像一间厝共款，茶馆是咧对。其实藏在这内底就是一间台湾的茶馆，叫做 Tea Company。大家应该嘛听得出来讲，因的名是用台语的茶来号的，咱就入来参观吧。对，咱拢知影讲台湾的茶是最出名的，尤其是台湾的乌龙茶。我大概若登台湾，家己嘛会走一转南投，特别就是为了去买茶。就是想要到讲纽约市内底嘛有一间甲台湾茶叶农民合作来进口台湾茶的茶馆。这会使看到因有足侪罐茶，也有泡茶的茶果甲茶区嘛兼会了。泡茶要配的点心嘛，拢是店内面家己做的。在这间茶馆，就是头家娘负责茶的部分，头家负责做点心。因的点心嘛，拢是台湾口味的，亲像因的绿豆椪甲王梨饼，根本就是台湾味。咱即摆要来问头家娘，伊为虾米会决定用台语的茶来号这间茶馆的名
I think when we first started, I wanted the name to be approachable because the whole purpose of the operation is to get people who are not familiar with Taiwanese tea to try it. And so I don't want something so obscure, but I want something to be pretty general and relatable. I also don't want to name it after me because I don't make the tea, I just pick them.
咱即摆要问头家娘，就是讲伊对茶的背景甲经验到底是啥？哪会决定讲要开一间茶馆
I grew up in Taipei, so the childhood memory for me in tea is that we drink a lot of tea at home. It's morning, lunch, afternoon, dinner, like all day. My mom drinks tea like water. There's no, like at some point, I'm like, Mom, you gotta drink water. And so I took a few years of, when I was still working, kind of paralleling, just learning, trying, drinking, visiting tea farmers to get some sort of familiarity to, continue. So that's the backstory.
甲台湾茶叶农民合作来进口台湾的茶，伊即个经验是安怎？即个过程的感觉是安怎？
But we just drank a lot of tea from Elan. So that's actually my first stop because my grandfather had a friend when I essentially drank her tea, I think, growing up. So she was my first stop in learning, and they were very, very kind. And this small local tea farmer only really supplies Elan.
虽然讲咱台湾人拢注定啉茶，在厝内大家应该嘛是有泡过茶，也毋过专业的泡茶的过程也是有差别的。伊家己希望讲对茶的影响的未来，伊希望讲伊会使做到什么款的影响。
In Chinese, 不敢当 like I don't know that.
No, I mean you definitely have. But
I just had a very simple goal was to make this thing more accessible to essentially like my friends.
Yeah.
Who aren't necessarily Taiwanese, Chinese, Japanese, like the Asian heritage,
Right.
where you're like, oh yeah, I know what that is. And I thought focusing on Taiwan would be a good way to start because the world of tea is huge. And I thought for me to have any type of value add, I had to more or less focus on a specific style or really country or origin is where it makes the most sense. And so I picked Taiwan because I'm from Taiwan.
今仔日伫咱来之前，就有甲一寡茶的名翻译成台语。咱遮有一位人客，伊今仔日头一摆来即个茶馆，伊有啉一款茶，感觉袂歹啉。咱来问伊讲，伊啉什么款的茶？
当今五农茶，
Nice. And what did you think of it?
有可能，
有可能。
有可能。
咱知讲茶馆内底嘛有得卖点心，这位人客有来过几遍啊？咱来问伊讲，伊上爱食的点心是倒一个？两零酥有够好食的哦。
抓或酒茶，茶。我啉老张铁观音。
大家应该想会到讲，在遮尔细的所在嘛，会创造一间茶馆，也毋过有伊伫咧，真正是足幸福的，因为安尼毋免等到台湾，就反正啉着咱台湾的好茶。